عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala salah. Hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الكلام كلام الله وخير هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد أيها المسلمون brothers and sisters Allah عز من قائل في قرآنه العزيز قال إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the Quran, verily we had revealed it in Laylatul Qadr. This surah, Laylatul Qadr, the scholars, they differ in whether or not this surah was revealed in Mecca or Medina. Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah, believe that it was revealed in Mecca, while the other scholars such as Qurtubi, they believe, I'm sorry, not Qurtubi, but Tabari, they believe that it was revealed in Medina, and the correct opinion is that this surah was revealed in Medina, even though it is short. And we know from our studies that an indication, or one of the indications that a surah is revealed in either Mecca or Medina, or whether it is a Median surah or a Meccan surah, is how short or how long it is. But inshallah ta'ala, the correct opinion is that this surah is a Median surah. It was revealed in Medina or after the hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Medina. Today, bi'idhnillahi jalla wa ala, we're going to talk about this surah because now we're in the last, or approaching on the last 10 days and nights of this blessed month of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us benefit from it. Ameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We revealed it in Laylatul Qadr. It is talking about the Quran. And there's no difference amongst the scholars in this regard. Some of the scholars differ as to where it was revealed. The word inzal doesn't necessarily mean to be revealed, but is when something comes from a higher ground to lower. So you can say the best explanation, the best translation will be, it was sent down, or we sent it down in Laylatul Qadr. And that will be more appropriate here because the sending down that is specified in this surah is the sending down of the Quran from the Lawh al-Mahfuz, from the prescribed or the preserved tablet to the Sama ad-Dunya, meaning the lower heavens, to where it was then received by the angel Jibreel, who then gave it to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we know that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would meet with the angel Jibreel during Ramadan, where the angel Jibreel would read the whole Quran to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi. And this is an interesting point because I saw something that was very concerning the past few days. I was privy to that there was a sister that was studying the Quran, but she had a very unique way of studying it. The sister was reading the Quran in the order of how it was revealed. So she said that this would give her a better understanding of the verses because of how, of the order in which that they were revealed. And this seems like a good idea at first. But when we understand that even though the Quran was revealed in parts, that it was also later revealed as a whole to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in that way, that whole, that entirety of the Quran is what we have with us now. That was gathered by Zayd ibn Thabit and was approved of by the rest of the companions. So it's important to keep that in mind. And we also know that the companions never did this type of study of the Quran. And this is important, ya ikhwan wa khawat, brothers and sisters. Whenever we meet an idea, no matter how ingenious it might seem, look at the implementation and the understanding of those companions, those people that were around the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu wa sallamu alayhi. Because like Ibn Mas'ud said, إِمَّا أَنَّكُمْ أَهْدَى مِنَّا وَأَنْتُمْ أَضَلُّ السَّبِيلِ. When he saw Ibn Mas'ud, radiyallahu anhu, the companion, the scholar, the mufassir, the scholar of tafsir, he said after seeing a group of people in a circle doing dhikr, he said to them, either you're more guided than us, meaning the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or you are astray. This was the understanding that the companions had, that they knew that they were there when the Quran was revealed, and that they would be the best to know its interpretation, because they were amongst the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when they attempted, when they tried to interpret and understand the words of Allah and also implement it. And when they were wrong in their understanding or implementation, they had the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to correct them. Someone might say, well, what if they did something and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not privy to it? This then is a proof that shows that, there might be things that went on, some ijtihad from the companions, that there was neither a nay or yay from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to either approve or reject that act of ibadah, that type of worship. The proof that goes against this is what one of the companions, and I don't really remember if it was Abu Musa or Abu Sa'id, who said something that was very interesting, that gives us another principle that we can use, that goes away and dispels with that theory. It says, كنا نعزل في عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم والقرآن ينزل. This companion, he said, during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during his time, which means that there were revelations still going on. Right? He said, during his time, we used to withdraw, which is, a practice during intercourse and things like that. If you don't want to release inside, you withdraw. So he said that we used to do this during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wal Qur'anu yanzil, and at this time there was revelation, meaning that the companions understood that even if the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't see them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw them in a time when there was revelation. And if they were doing something that was wrong, He would have revealed something in His book to either substantiate it or to prove it's wrong. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr. Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree, as most people translate it. Why is it called Laylatul Qadr? One thing that's important to understand, and inshallah ta'ala, I think we all know this, is that amongst the Muslims, the night is before the day. Right? And that's the reason why we pray Tarawih the night before we fast. Right? Because the night is before the day. If we see the new moon, that night is the beginning of Ramadan, because the night is before the day in the Islamic calendar and according to the Muslims. So that's the word layl. Al-Qadr was translated as the decree. اختلف العلماء. The scholars disagree as what does this mean here. Is Qadr talking about the greatness and the status of this day or this night? Or is it talking about that this is a night in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed or sent forth some of His decrees? And Allah knows best, but I lean towards the opinion that it's talking about the greatness and significance and the status of this day. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran in this day, or in this night, the night of Laylatul Qadr. And it's a night that is approaching us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He then says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكُمْ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. And what will make you know what Laylatul Qadr is? Ibn Mas'ud said something that was very interesting about this, the wording of this verse. He said, if Allah, I'm sorry, not Ibn Mas'ud, but Ibn Ma'in. Ibn Uyayna. Ibn Uyayna is one of the scholars of the past, one of the great scholars of Hadith, Ibn Uyayna, who's from Mecca. He said that if Allah says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ, if Allah says, and what will make you know, in using this wording, using the past tense, means that He's going to tell you what is it that you need to know. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ. Right? And what will make you know what a tariq is, the shooting star. And of course, after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us. He defines it for us. But if Allah says, وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ, if Allah uses this verb in the present tense, same meaning in English, and what will make you know, He will not tell you the meaning of it. وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ لَعَلَّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمَةً. Right? And He said, and what will make you know? If perhaps the hour has been established. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not tell us about the hour. So this is a benefit that we get from our scholars of old. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. In the next verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. He tells us a little bit about Laylatul Qadr, saying that it is better than Alf Shahr, 1,000 months. Linguistically, the Arabs, they use the word thousand in front of any noun, not to be a hasr, not to say that, it's this thing is limited to 1,000, but they use it to actually mean the opposite. It means unlimited. Like, for example, they'll say, you'll never get this in 1,000 years, meaning that you'll never get it as long as you live. So that 1,000 is not a restricted number to the Arabs. That is one way of looking at it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this night of Qadr, this night that is significant, this night that is great, is better than 1,000 nights. Or 1,000 months. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he explained, what does this 1,000 months, other than Laylatul Qadr, what does it consist of? So in his explanation, he says 1,000 months of Haml Silah. It's 1,000 months of striving in the cause of Allah in jihad. And there is no greater reward than jihad. So imagine someone spending 1,000 months striving in the cause of jihad, and this night is better than that. This shows the blessing in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon this ummah. Because we are the last nation, the years that we live is shorter than the years of those nations before us. And this used to worry some of the companions. Because they're thinking, okay, if the people before us used to live longer than us, then there's no way we can have as much deeds as them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with nights like this, with days in which the worship in those specific times gain us blessings in which we can use to supersede over the nations that were before us. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. That the angels and the Ruh, they ascend in this night. The Ruh here is talking about the angel Jibreel alayhi salam. And that is the correct opinion of the scholars. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. And they do this because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had allowed them to. But what is it? Or for what reason do they ascend? تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهِ. Some of the mufassirin, the scholars of tafsir, they say that the angels, they descend to send their blessings, to make dua for the people, the Muslims that are diligent, that are striving, that are busying themselves in worship. Another explanation is that the angels descend to say Ameen with those people who are making dua and saying Ameen, so that they can make their dua be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whichever case it might be, both of them are in it good for the Muslim. Then in the last verse, Allah Jalla Jalaluh, he says, Salamun hiya matla'il fajr. Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. The word salam here is talking about not peace, but safety. according to the Mufassirin. The Laylatul Qadr, the night of the Qadr, should be a night in which that there is safety. There is no sense that one will befall upon them shar, evil, or distress. And this will continue hatta mutla' al-fajr, until the morning rises. This is another proof that shows that the night of Qadr is restricted to the night, and it's not a full 24 hours. So it's from sundown to sun up. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who benefit from this night. Ameen ya Rabb. And to guard us from falling into those things that will negate our striving and our struggles in this blessed month. Ameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أيها المسلمون، أخرج في الصحيحين عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. In both Al-Bukhari and Muslim in their respective books, on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, who said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever fasts Ramadan with faith and seeking reward, Allah will forgive them that which has proceeded from their sins. وَمَنْ قَامَ لَيْلَةَ الْقَدْرِ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. And whoever stands in the night of Laylatul Qadr, whoever stands in that night with faith and seeking reward, غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ, that his sins, his past sins will be forgiven. And this is something that we have to understand when it comes to the standing. We're talking about, of course, the night prayer, tahajjud or tarawih, whichever you want to call it, it's the same thing. Brothers who leave before the imam finishes the tarawih, do they get the reward? If it's Laylatul Qadr, does this hadith apply to them? The scholars say no. Majority of the scholars say no. Now, why would someone leave from following the imam? Some of them because they have the understanding that they want to finish their tahajjud at home. And they know that they cannot, or in their understanding is that they cannot pray witr and then continue to pray tarawih or tahajjud, because witr should be the last prayer that you pray for that night. This is correct. That understanding is correct. But the implementation here is wrong. We know this because Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu was in a similar situation. That he would spend the night trying to memorize the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And due to him being busy with that, he would forget to make witr. Sometimes this would happen. So what did the Prophet ﷺ advise him to do? The Prophet ﷺ advised him to make the witr at the beginning of the night. Then If he wakes up to pray tahajjud, he can pray tahajjud. Of course, he does not repeat the witr because there's only one witr in the night. But with this, he safeguards himself. And he also gets that reward of making the witr, following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, with that as an example, the scholars say the person who wants to make tahajjud or continue making tahajjud after praying with the imam, you should do this. That way, the reward of praying with the imam will not leave him. And yet he can still benefit himself from praying in the night. But he does not repeat the witr. That means he prays methna, methna. He prays two units as much as he wants. And then when he's done, he leaves it as such. There's another hadith I wanted to address. Let's see if we got any time here. 2 o'clock. I think we'll stop right there, inshallah. Don't want to overdo it. But we do have some announcement. If I'm wrong in anything, just let me know. So today we're doing our normal. We have the classes 50 minutes, that's 50 minutes before the adhan for Maghrib. So that means that there is going to be an iftar still. No? Oh, we're scratching iftar. Okay, so it'll just be the classes. And then we have Taraweeh tonight. Bidnillahi Jalla Jalaluh. Iftar will be Wednesday, right? What? That's not going to happen either? Okay. All right, so there's no iftar Wednesday. So what are we doing? What's going on? Nothing? Okay. All right, so no iftar Wednesday. There's something else. Oh, for those who don't know that we do have we're trying to do the summer camp. And that is, we're trying to get people to register. Now, registering does not mean that you have to pay. Just means that you're showing interest. It's pre-registration. That way we can know how many people to expect and so forth. The link is with Mukhtar. There's a link. You tap on it. It sends you to the website. You fill in your information of your children, and so forth. The ages are 8 to 16 now. That's what we've decided on. That might change once we see how enrollment is. And it's for 2 months. Bidnillahi Jalla Jalaluh. Yeah, and that's it. Is there anything else? No? Okay, Aqim as-salat.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. Hayya ala as-salah, hayya ala al-falah, qad qamat as-salah, qad qamat as-salah. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah.
استووا اعتدلوا تراصوا قاربوا بين المناقب والأقدام. Straighten your lines, feet to feet, shoulder to shoulder. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين